Good morning, divine masculines, um, and all my audience, whoever is here at the moment with me. Now, in the last discussion about lying and manifesting lies, we had spoken about a part which is about the scale being on one hand on the negative side and on the other hand the positive side. Positive one we didn't discuss. We discussed the negative part, the lies part, where there is a negative path opposite to the lies, and it does not lead to manifestation actually, because manifestation has nothing to do with lies. Manifestation is all about the truth. The power of the brain, the force of the brain only takes one vibration which is true, authentic, and which is in union with the earth's vibration or the universe vibration of the universe. So lies have no place in manifestations at all. Lies have certain elements in it which are totally different. Their functions are different. There is deviation from the path, original path, and that is duping, that is deceptiveness, that is all sorts of bullies concern. And then finally it has all sorts of unscrupulous things, immoral acts, incriminating actions for the self. So these are all the elements of lies which are nowhere near manifestations at all, because manifestation is the work of a pure brain, a pure energy, pure, positive and powerful and authentic energy can only manifest. Even to manifest a smallest action, for example, at this moment, if you want the rain to come down, or in the dark of the night, suddenly if you want some stars to hide just by command, this is called manifestation. And these things, you want success in something, for that, these manifestations, we have to work hard, we have to be very diligent, and that is the path of authenticity and positiveness. When universe agrees with the vibration of that being and blesses them with whatever is asked. So today I would take a moment over here, just about 5 minutes, to discuss the negative scale. On the negative scale, the self which has who has gone to the extreme negative, and has at the moment seen maybe a speck of light, or a bit of hope, and wishes to come or come back to their original position of beginning, a true path. Okay, they would, they need not be absolutely in despair. There is all the chance, all the opportunity, and jab jago tabhi savera, है ना. So whenever you wake up, you have to encounter the morning, confront with the activities of your morning. Now the question is, how will you wake up? How will you return after waking up? Once you're ready to return, what actions you have to take, and where will you return? These are two questions. So return, first of all, I will answer the question where to return. Please understand that when you have gone to the extreme of the negative side and you're willing to return, do not look for anybody else's support. You are going to return to yourself, not to anybody else. There is no one waiting for you. Nobody is ready to garland you for your return. You are nobody's minister that you'll be crowned after you return. And there's you are just going to return to the self. Okay, so the self that was lost will return to the regained path, that is the path of truth. That is the return address. And to whom you'll return? The person to whom you're going to return is to yourself only. So the original self and identity of yours that was taken away, that was pitched by somebody else, peaked by somebody else, that is going to be re-established within yourself. And so you receive back yourself, return to yourself, receive back your original self. And how you're going to do this, the process. So the process of return is very simple. It is not at all difficult. The lies seem to be difficult, very difficult, but the truth is the easiest thing that is said. Okay, toughest thing for carrying out, but easiest done and said before done. So how do you say the easy truth to yourself? You just have to take control over yourself. First of all, you have to tell yourself that the self, is the controller of the I. Now that control passion that is existing within the self should be converged. Instead of divergence, it should be converged within the self. So the control issue becomes self-control. So in this case, the protagonist or the self has to stop looking at anybody, stop looking at A, B, C, D, anybody exterior to the self should not be looked at. The focus and the eyes, the eye should be in the self, in the third eye of the self, in every chakra of the self, and in the actions of the self. And the self, the thought of the self must be monitored. And monitoring of all this entire function of the being of the self should be towards the fact that the self regains complete control over this I, the self, this me, everything else, and none outside. Let the outsiders do whatever they want. So once the self has gained full control of the self, now whatever direction, whatever instruction, whatever power is given from, received and shown and given to the self, will be acted upon, will be dealt with, will be the self will be obedient to those that is given by the spirit or by the God, by the Almighty, by the universe. The outsiders now cannot manipulate, because the self is going to be monitored and manipulated and controlled. In other words, a simple word and the most powerful word is controlled by the Almighty himself. So when divine takes over the control of the self, and the self is in control himself only when the divine can take control over, because self is a belonging of the divine, not of any human beings. So any human being who is trying to be possessive to the extent that throttles the existence of another human being, that is absolutely a sin. Because every being's existence there's a limit to dominate or to trespass into the existence of someone's periphery or the freedom of that person. Why? Because that being is absolutely first, is the possession, the valuable, the worthy possession of the divine. That must be kept in mind. And those people who forget it, and they are absolutely some controlled by some other kind of negative emotions and other weak attributes of their character, which they are not in control. They are sick people. They should not be able to, they are like COVID patients. If you keep in touch with them, you will get the disease. So, do you go and sleep with a COVID patient? This is not possible. You have to be separated, okay, isolated. So this isolation is very important, and it is a blessing. And in isolation, you must remember that you're not in isolation. Once you come to isolation, you're going to receive the blessing of the Almighty. Divine will take over the possession, because every soul belongs to the divine. And it is very easy to regain self control at this moment, because nobody will be able to control the self once the people are kept away from the self, and self must remain with the self. Self is the only guardian of the self. Self is the only authority of the self. So control of the self and conquering the self, conquer of the territory of the self. So everything that you're going to do is to the self. So now get back the focus. Self gets the focus back to the self, which was divergent. It was an illusion. The control outside is absolutely an illusion. The one who does not have control within the universe of the self cannot understand the formula of control in the external aspect. So, self control is the only thing by which the control issue can be overcome. So, I hope you're going to start working at it, and it won't be difficult. And the sword that is in the hands of the divine, the sword of the Almighty, which is nothing but a symbol of truth. So truth is only in the self, and when the truth is accepted by the self, it becomes easier for the self to work for the benefit of the self. Once you see the truth, illusions are removed. You cannot be you cannot be bullied. You cannot be cheated anymore by things which are non-reflective of actuality, of facts, which are not facts at all. These things are just projections. They are these things are done. They are very low level manipulations which are done for the personal benefits, especially monetary benefits of dependents and others. So there is no need to leave family, because duties are one part of the physical aspect, earthly aspect, which brings about karma. So karma must be controlled on one hand, and spirituality must be controlled. That is, that control with self control is another control, which is also a karma. So if you have to see that you have done the correct karma externally to the members of the family, and you have to also maintain the karma towards the self within. So first you have to look for the within, and within yourself you have to understand that you have to go by the there is a text called Ramcharitmanas. It is known as a holy text, which is at the moment coming into my tongue upon my cognition. And there is the Holy Bible. These two books instruct about how you're going to be active in your decisions of daily life and your character. These are the grounding instructions that are there in the book, these books, two books. Rest have the spiritual, the Gita and the Gurbani have the spiritual aspects. So the grounding, the moral aspect has to be controlled on one hand. On the other, the spirit must also be guarded from these, from sweeping of your feet, getting swept off by these negative, ungrounded aspects. So, this is how we are going to conduct the work and come out successful. This practice must be developed by remaining more with yourself, authentic self. And if any disturbance is found, any distractions are impediments are creating problems in this development of this practice, you must move away outright from that place and get into some kind of focal point, focus, some kind of action, channelized. Create. Normally, we go for some creative actions. It could be music, singing, dancing. We can take up some other kind of studies, research. We can take up some other kind of creativity, any kind of creativity, painting, any kind of art and culture, or can be dealt with, which is the most helpful path that you can go by. I hope this is going to help, and do subscribe and press the like button. Thank you.